Good morning. On your screen is a live view of Starship as it awaits its second attempt at our first ever integrated flight test from Starbase, Texas. If all goes well, we hope to see our Starship spacecraft and Super Heavy booster, which we collectively call Starship, lift off together for the first time in exactly 33 minutes from now. Purposes for today's flight, we will consider any data received that helps inform and improve future builds of Starship as a success. From a milestone standpoint, our main goal is to clear the pad. Every milestone beyond that is a bonus. The further we fly, the more data we can collect.
Now, if it does all go well, then we'll expect the Super Heavy to light up its 33 Raptor engines at the base of the vehicle and lift off, clear the pad away down from Starbase in Starbase, Texas, and then it'll go into ascent. About 3 minutes into its ascent, we're going to expect to see Super Heavy separate from the Starship. It'll perform a flip maneuver, and then it'll execute a boost back burn, and we're going to be targeting a hard landing in the Gulf of Mexico.
And while that's happening, we hope to see Starship's 6 second stage engines ignite and watch as Starship coasts for about an hour at altitudes ranging between 150 and 250 kilometers before re-entering Earth's atmosphere and make its own hard landing in the Pacific Ocean about 250-ish kilometers offshore.
Now, in a little bit, we'll take a closer look at the vehicle and the launch pad. But first, the teams have been doing a tremendous amount of work over the last few months. In fact, there's a great shot of our Hawthorne team up here bright and early to watch the launch. Teams have been prepping really for the last few days, especially to try to get in today's launch attempt.
And here you can see a live view of the South Padre Amphitheater where both SpaceX employees, friends and family, and members of the public are gathering to watch Starship lift off. And we can see the crowds are gathering there as well. And of course, we want to give a shout out to the SpaceX team. You see them there on screen, members of our launch command, our Star Command Center. That is our Starbase Launch Control Center. Yep,
those are the operators today who are going to be reviewing all the data and, of course, giving us the go, no go poll, checking the status to try to get in today's launch attempt just around 27 minutes from now.
And one thing I do want to mention, I misspoke. It's not the South Padre Amphitheater, it's the Cameron County Amphitheater.
Now, let's talk about the Super Heavy. Its name says everything. It's super, it's heavy, it's super heavy. When it's operational, it'll be responsible for providing the power to escape that mighty gravitational pull of Earth that we've got here and take Starship into orbit.
The booster itself stands about 70 meters tall and is roughly the same height as a fully integrated Falcon 9, which is just so crazy to me. But this Super Heavy booster has a diameter roughly 2.5 times that of Falcon 9, and with 33 much larger engines. We have a beautiful view here. This is one of my favorite views that we're going to get today. Those are our 33 Raptor engines at the base of the Super Heavy booster.
Yep, and you can see they're in a couple of different rings here. So we've got the outer ring of 20 static engines. They're going to be providing a huge amount of thrust today to lift off the entire stack. But then we've got the 13 gimbaling engines in the middle, and they're going to be providing the tilt maneuvers and also helping to reorient the booster as it comes back later in today's flight.
Yeah, and when we say gimbal, it's basically tilting or almost wiggling the engines a few degrees in either direction to allow the booster to steer itself, just as you said, Shiva.
And we'll get some great shots later of actually a wiggle test that we perform ahead of liftoff, just to make sure that all of those engines are able to control their full range of control authority.
Now, Starship, or the spacecraft, is the second stage, and it makes up the top portion of the vehicle. It's designed for carrying passengers and cargo to Earth orbit and beyond. It stands about 50 meters tall, which is a little taller than the Statue of Liberty. It's comprised of 6 Raptor engines, 3 sea level and 3 vacuum engines, which are optimized to operate in the vacuum of space. And they provide a maximum of 258,000 tons of thrust in vacuum. Spacecraft is also outfitted with 4 flaps to help aerodynamically control the vehicle's attitude, which you can see those 2 forward flaps there on your screen now. So they help control the vehicle's attitude during atmospheric flight and enable precise landing at the intended location. Now, one thing we got to mention, The heat shields, they are iconic. Starship is wrapped in a heat shield, which is composed of 18,000 hexagonal ceramic tiles designed to insulate the vehicle during that atmospheric entry. And that's really important because the temperatures can be as high as 2,600 degrees Fahrenheit. The hex-shaped tiles, like the ones that Shiva and I have, roughly make up about 2/3 of the vehicle. We can see that we have some different shapes. Mine is slightly curved. As you can imagine, it sits on the curved portions of the Starship vehicle.
Now, the one that I've got is a hexagonal tile that's more flat, and it's really used for the flatter structures on the vehicle. And we need a heat shield because when you're coming back in from re-entry, we're going supersonic, we're compressing all the air ahead of us. That ends up causing a lot of heating along the surface, and without a heat shield, that would go straight into the structure.
Yeah, one thing that's amazing to me, especially when I first picked up one of these heat shield tiles, is that they're so light. They almost feel like they're made out of foam. They're that light, and they kind of sound like it too. And one thing that we do want to mention, in order to reject the maximum amount of heat during that entry, like Shiva was just saying, they're black, and that's because black helps reject that heat that is building up on the exterior of the heat shield.
Coming up on T-minus 8 minutes, I think it's another good time for check-in with John.
Thank you, Shiva. T-minus just over 8 minutes to the first test flight of Starship. Currently, we are pressurizing second stage. We are also closing out liquid oxygen and fuel header loads on the second stage. We're also getting ready for propellant load tank pressurization on the first stage. In fact, we are just now closing out header tank load on the second stage. Now, with the header tanks loaded and closed out, that means we're down to just the first stage to finish loading. That'll finish about T-minus 3 minutes. And at that point, when both stages are loaded, we will have the 10 million pounds of liquid propellant on board.
Everyone's cheering as we get into T-minus 5 minutes.
We want to remind everyone that success today is anything.
Yeah, it looks fun down there. I kind of want to go join them.
For today, success is anything that we learn that helps improve the future builds of Starship. If we lift off and clear the pad, we're calling that a win.
Next activity is coming up. The flight termination system arms at T-minus 2 minutes. Thrust vector control checkouts at T-minus 2 minutes. And then after that, major activity will be the T-minus 40-second gate. There's the view looking up at the 33 Raptor engines. There are 20 engines in a circle on the outside, and as Shiva said earlier, 13 engines on the center. Those are the ones that gimbal and steer the vehicle.
I don't think I've ever seen someone so excited for TBC wiggles.
All right, guys, welcome.
Love this view. These are the 33 Raptor engines at the base of the super heavy booster. I think we can see those wiggles now.
We're currently inside 90 seconds. Next major activity, T-minus 40 seconds. That is a gate, a decision point.
Here we go.
We're waiting. Possibility the propulsion team may need a few minutes. Flight termination system is armed for flight.
It's armed.
We're getting ready for T-minus 1 minute and counting.
It's armed.
Right.
1 minute.
Next, we'll see as we get past T-minus 40 seconds for final checks of the vehicle.
Come on, baby. Let's light this thing. Went back to 40.
Okay, you can see the clock has recycled. flight director has called a hold. We are recycling. For the moment, we'll see where they move the clock back to. They could hold at T-minus 40 seconds. They could go to an earlier point. Give us a minute to listen into the nets, and we'll see if we can get you more information to share.
No! No! No. Oh no. Oh no. It's not good, guys. Countdown hold for final launch checkouts. Okay, so it's final launch checkouts. This is good, I think. I hope. I don't know. We don't know until we see what happens. They might put a minute back on the clock, but I don't know. They might have to recycle. And that's the issue, then there's no launch today. I just do it by a web dress rehearsal. Or just start recycling. This is tough. This is what happens. I mean, it's the first vehicle, so at least it's the first big vehicle that SpaceX has made. So it's good. (6:30 a.m. Arizona time). They put a hold on the rocket.
John Innsbrucker again here at the Hawthorne webcast desk. We're holding at T-minus 40 seconds. What we've heard so far is we have a couple of issues we're working. One is the booster tank pressurization. Final pressurization was just a little bit long. That's not unusual. We've held at T-minus 40 seconds before to pressurize. That appears to have been resolved. At the same time on the second stage, they're working some final purging. We should know very shortly if that is cleared and if we'll continue the countdown.
Everyone, especially that person, is excited to keep going. Like John said, we should know shortly if we are able to continue. But as we mentioned before, we are able to hold up to 15 minutes and still be able to lift off today.
Yeah, on Falcon 9, it's a little bit different. Once we start propellant loading, we pretty much have to go at the targeted time. Otherwise, the propellants can warm up, and we may not have the performance for that particular mission profile. It's a little bit different on Starship.
Folks, if I can interrupt,
yeah,
it looks like they're clearing all the flags, and we're going to release at T-minus 40 seconds.
That is amazing news.
Release at 40 seconds.
Team working quickly through their issues on first and second stages.
Come on, boys. Come on, boys. Come on, boys.
I'm sure all of the rehearsals and simulations that they've been doing have prepared them to evaluate this data quickly to try to get us in for today's launch attempt.
For those of you just joining, we have a brief hold at the T-minus 40 second mark. The team is resolving one issue with the bleed purge on the stage 2 Raptors. Like John just said, the teams are quickly working that, and it looks like the flags are being cleared as we speak. So we should be able to resume the launch countdown any moment now.
And it's worth noting on Starship that once we resume the countdown, it restarts from the 40-second period, and then we keep going unless another condition pops up. So stick around, because Starship could be going here real soon.
Don't walk away, that's for sure. Amazing views here coming to us from Starbase, Texas.
Oh no!
43 seconds into the test flight of the inaugural Starship vehicle. Tower cleared, we're into pitch over.
Something's wrong!
Propulsion reports first stage engines nominal. What a sight from the ground cameras at Starbase. We're flying at twice the thrust of the Saturn V heading to space.
It's going though! It's fucking going! Come on, baby! Come on, don't pull up! Don't pull up!
We're throttled down and throttled back up.
A minute in flight,
Going through the period of maximum aerodynamic pressure.
Yeah, it has some engines lost, some engines are lost, but that's okay, it can still go.
As the velocity increases, the density of the atmosphere is decreasing, lessening stress on the vehicle. The call out, max Q now.
Is that max Q? Is that max Q, baby? It's still going!
Continuing to
It's
watch
still
the first stage
climbing!
as we head down range.
Come on, baby! Come on, baby! Keep climbing, keep climbing, keep climbing, keep climbing!
100 seconds into flight. Our next major activity is going to be shutdown of the first stage.
It's still
Houston
going
tracking
now.
station now acquiring the vehicle.
Oh no, they reached
With shutdown, we will get separation of Starship and
Come
Super
on,
Heavy
baby,
and
let's
ignition of the Starship
go!
engines. When Starship separates, we light
Come
up
on,
6
this is
engines in a
important
staggered
too, so you gotta
sequence.
separate.
And if all goes well, those
The
6
engines are
engines
good.
will burn for almost 6.5
Engines
minutes.
are good.
Onboard view
Onboard
from
view!
Starship.
Onboard view, baby! Here we go!
And there's views of the Raptor
Come on.
engines on the second
Come on,
stage
separate.
as we prepare for
Come on,
stage
baby.
separation. Now, after stage separation, the first stage will flip and begin a boost back maneuver for landing in the Gulf.
Oh no. It's out of control! It's out of control. Wait, no it's not. It's not.
Continuing to fly, 2 minutes 40 seconds. Let's get ready for main engine cutoff.
No, it's out of control.
Beginning to flip for stage separation.
Oh, it's flipping? It's flipping. Holy shit. It's out of control. It's out of control. It's out of control.
As of right now, we are awaiting stage separation,
It's out of control.
where Starship should separate from the Super Heavy booster.
It's out of control.
Yeah, Kate, right now it looks like we saw the start of the flip, but obviously we're seeing from the ground cameras the entire Starship stack continuing to rotate. We should have had separation by now. Obviously, this is does not appear to be a nominal situation.
Dang.
Yeah, it does appear to be spinning, but I do want to remind everyone that everything after clearing the tower was icing on the cake.
Oh, man. Grew up. Hey, that's okay. That's okay. You made max Q. You made max Q.
And there, as you saw, as we made an exciting end to the Starship inaugural integrated
Let's go.
test flight.
SpaceX. Let's go. Look at max Q, though. They hit max Q.
Everyone here absolutely pumped to clear the pad and make it this far into the test flight, the first integrated flight of the booster and the Starship vehicle.
Wow.
Live view there of our control center at Starbase, which we refer to as Star Command.
All the data that we collected during the test is going to help us with further development of Starship, and it's going to improve the vehicle's reliability as SpaceX seeks to make life multiplanetary. It's really worth noting that the flight path was designed to be over water and all the air and sea space. Along with that flight path and those surrounding areas were cleared in advance of the test. And of course, we're going to be coordinating with local authorities for the recovery operations.
But honestly, what an exciting morning. Oh my gosh. We had a successful liftoff from Starbase, Texas at 8:28 a.m. Central Time. We cleared the tower, which honestly was our only hope. We cleared the tower, and all the data that we collected all the way through all those Raptor, those 33, although I think we saw that 3 Raptor engines were out. But we got all that data, and we got so far as to hoping to see the Starship, the second stage, separate from the first stage, the Super Heavy booster. And unfortunately, we didn't make that happen, but that's okay. It was the first integrated launch, and honestly, today was amazing.
Absolutely incredible day. We made it through a number of those initial test objectives with getting booster ascent, getting all the way through the countdown, working some issues at the end. Like,
Totally
really fantastic day.
Got through the gate at T-minus 40 seconds on the second try. Everything released, the hold downs, the quick disconnect arms, everything moves out of the way. And then we got the vehicle off of the pad, through max Q, all the way up to stage separation, even starting into the prep stage sep. And then, as we say, a lot of excitement.
Yep. Honestly, my face has had a smile on it since liftoff, and now my face hurts. Now, since we don't have any insights on the cause of our rapid unscheduled disassembly at this point, we're going to end our webcast here. Teams will continue to review the data and work toward our next flight test. But before we go, a big congrats to the entire SpaceX team on an exciting first integrated flight test of Starship. And of course, a shout out to our viewers. We appreciate you joining us. And as always, we thank you for your interest in Starship, SpaceX, and your ongoing support. Till next time.
Yeah, they did a lot. That proved them. That literally. It made them show that it's possible to launch a big rocket, and went through max Q and everything. So, good launch for SpaceX and the team. You guys did a wonderful job today. Some good data from that launch. So, yeah, we'll see you guys on the next launch, and who knows when it would be, but keep you guys updated. Make sure you follow my socials on Twitter, Facebook, whatever. Yeah, this has been a really good launch today. It was really good. I'm still speechless. I mean, it lifted off the pad, guys. It lifted off the pad. That's all that matters. It got max Q, and they got some good data from that. So that's it. I've been up all night. 6:42 a.m. Arizona time. I'm done here. So I will see you guys next time, and in the next video and next launch. Stay tuned and have a great day, guys. See you guys in the next video. Peace.